So let's go over decimals, right? Or yeah, turning fractions into decimals. So you know how I have 1/2, right? And 1/2 equals what in a decimal? 0.5. And if we can represent that with a pi, we would say that, let me do a blue color, that it is half of the pi. And if I could say that I wanted 1/4, right? How much is 1/4 in a decimal? We know this for money, right? In quarters, right, we have 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, and then $1. So, with that, if we can represent that in a pi, right, I would say, and I would color it in red, or I guess let me color it in yellow. It's kind of like a mustard color, and I would say it's 1/4 of the pi, right? Now if we said 3/4, how much is that? In well, we know quarters, right? So we say 25, 50, 75. It's kind of how we figure out these numbers here. We just look at quarters. And how much of that is represented for the pi? Let me use this for red. Okay, it's kind of a red. Say, well, 75% of this is right here. Alright. Now what if we said 1? What if we said 1? Well, 1 equals 1. That means if you can represent that in a pi, we could say, let me do this in a green color, that it's all of the pi. Okay, so now knowing this, right, we know 0.5, 0.25, 0.75, and 1, right? This is all quarters of pies, right? So this is going to help us figure out every single fraction on Earth, right? It's going to help us convert every fraction to a decimal. So let me just make a line here. And now let's start seeing what we can do. So what if I said 2/4 plus 1/6? If I wanted this, I wanted you to add these fractions and put into a decimal. Well, let's make pies. So this is, it's kind of a weird pie. There we go. 2/4. So 4 slices, because the denominator always gives us how many slices are going to be in the entire pie. So it's 4 slices. And 2 of them are gone. You could say that they're still gone. So 2 of them are gone. So now my question is, which of these look most like the pie that equals 2/4? I would say this one, right? This one looks most like it, and this one is 0.5. So it's half of the pie. So that means 2/4 is half of the pie. So we're going to make sure we write that down. We got to document that. So this is 0.5 and half the pie. And don't pay attention to the fact that it's not even. Just pay attention to it's about half the pie. I'm having a hard time drawing perfectly. Okay, so now let's draw the other pie. So how much slices do we need? 6 slices. So 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 1, 2, 3. No, it's 5. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1 slice is gone. You can say gone. You could say still here. And the point is, 1 slice is shaded. All right. So Now, which pi looks most like the pi that represents 1/6? I would say that, and this is where greater, more than, or less than comes in, right? Because we know that 1 is too big, right? Because this is a small slice, so it's less than 1. 0.75 is too big. It's less than that, right? Less than 0.25. 0.75 is way too big. How about 0.5? I would say 0.5 is still bigger than this tiny slice right here, right? All of these are too big. But what about 0.25? Which one's bigger? 0.25 or the pi that represents 1/6? Maybe it's kind of hard to tell. Or maybe you could tell that this one is bigger than this one. Right? So maybe you're just like, I think 0.25 is still bigger than the pi that represents 1/6. So that means, because we ran out of pies, right? We don't know exactly which pi it is. We just know that it's smaller than all of these. So what we're going to do is say that this pi, oops, that's the yellow, the wrong color. This pi is smaller than this pi, but bigger than 0, right? Because 0 is like, we have nothing. So if we can guess what number it's going to be, what number would it be, right? It's bigger than 0, smaller than 0.25. What's the number between 0.25 and 0? You could exactly say that it could be 0.16. It could be 0.20. But whatever it is, it's up to you to decide, right? So let's do another one. But it would be right either way. Whichever one you choose, it could be 0.17. It's a whole guesstimate, okay? Just guess. And then you add those up together. Let's say we did 0.17, right? 0.5 plus 0.17. If we can add that up, what would that be? Right? And that's the answer. 0.67. Good job. Let's do one more. Real quick. Let me check my time. Okay, we're good. So let's say we have 4/10. That's going to be a hard pie to make. And we have 3/7. Alright, let's do that. So how many slices are we going to have in the pie? Yes, 10 there, 7 here. Let's make 10 slices. Okay, so 2. that 10 slices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. 7 slices here. That's 6, 7. Alright. So now let's fill them in. So 4 slices need to be shaded over here. 3, 4. And maybe it's better to shade it over here. So let me go back actually too, yeah, and shade it here, because sometimes how you shade it matters. Just take that into consideration, okay? So that's 4 slices. Now let's do 7 slices over here. 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright. So now we gotta figure out, is it bigger or smaller than the others, right? So, is it bigger or smaller than 1? Smaller, yeah. 1 is way too big. Is it bigger or smaller than 0.75? Smaller. Okay, because it's not quite half. Like, it's not... This is more than half. Alright. So it's smaller. And we just went over this. Half of that circle. Half of that circle. Still, the pink is too small. How about this? Is it bigger or smaller than 0.25? I would say that it's bigger than 0.25, right? We have a little sliver left here. Over here we have a bigger sliver left here. So, it is bigger than 0.25, but smaller than 0.5, right? So it's bigger than 0.25, but smaller than 0.50. Put pink right here. So now choose a number. Any number between 0.25 and 0.50. You could say 0.30. You can say 0.41. Right? Let's choose 0.30. And over here we're going to do the exact same thing. Is this dark green bigger than this green or smaller? It's smaller. Is this dark green bigger or smaller than this dark red brown color? Well, let's see. This is half. Half, right? Right, it's smaller. Because this one kind of goes more than half, right? Has that extra square. This one doesn't have an extra square. So it is smaller. This dark green is smaller than that red. Is this green right here smaller or bigger than half of the circle? Well, if we cut this in half, which one's bigger, which one's smaller? I would say that the green is smaller, right? Because in order for it to be half, this piece needs to be filled. So the whole thing could be half. But it's not like that. Okay? Okay, is it bigger or smaller than the yellow? Right, this is half the circle. That's half the circle, right? This is half. And this is half. Is it bigger or smaller? Alright, bigger. It's bigger than the yellow. Alright, so now that we have our guesstimate, we know that it is smaller than 0.25. But, sorry, it's bigger than 0.25. But smaller. Let me put the screen color here. Smaller than 0.50. So I'm going to choose another number between 0.25 and 0.50. Now don't choose the same number. I mean, it could, honestly, it could be the same number. Only a calculator would give us an exact answer. But if we're guessing, right, what do you think it's going to be? Need my green color back. It could be 0.31. Or 0.42. It could be anything, right? We have such a big range. But that's the great thing about converting and having pies and helping you have diagrams, is that we're approximating. We're getting close to. We're saying it's just about somewhere around here. Okay, so let's use this number. So 0.30 plus 0.31 is what? 0.61. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know.